Hey, good afternoon. It's Sunday afternoon, June 20th. Don't normally do things on the Lord's Day, but today, because it's Father's Day, I wanted to give an opportunity just to meditate on what the Scriptures has to say about Father's Day. It's kind of a cool day today because this is also the day of this year of the summer solstice. So this is the longest day of the year, and at roughly 11:50 or so tonight, Eastern Standard Time, the sun will begin its journey back up north. And it's just an amazing time. So this is the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. I want to talk particularly about the impact of what God wants us to be about as fathers. Again, familiar passage, but we can't let the familiarity move us away. Fathers, do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. It's such a rich set of thoughts here, just such a very few words. It's powerful. But fathers, don't exasperate your children. Don't provoke them to anger. Don't frustrate them. Don't manipulate them. Don't present something very cruel in terms of what it means to know God. Rather, you're going to make them angry if you don't use the methods and persons of Jesus Christ, if you don't use his tools, his weapons of kindness, gentleness, humility, pleasant words. If you don't use those things in the way that Paul has used them here in the gospel, in the epistle of Ephesians, to the Ephesians, you will provoke your children to anger. This is what Paul is saying. So negatively, don't frustrate them, don't be unkind to them, don't be harsh with them. Positively, be gentle with them. And you do this by bringing them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. And I'm not going to deal specifically with the training and instruction because that's a whole other topic. But what I will talk about specifically here is bringing them up. And the word there for bringing up is nourishment. It's literally nourishment. This passage could just as easily be said, nourish them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. One of the reasons I wanted to be outside, particularly in the front yard today, is so there's my garden behind me here. And you'll see there's a bluebird nest back there, and maybe the bluebirds will come in while we're talking. There's 4 little babies in there, and both of the parents are actively engaged in caring for those 4 little lives. They are literally nourishing them up. They're caring for them. That's what God wants us to be about as fathers, nourishing our children, not just raising them to get them to obey me. Immediate obedience to me as a father is not the primary goal of instruction. Immediate obedience to you as a mom is not the primary goal of instruction. The primary goal of your nourishment of them is to cause them to come to know Christ. That's underscored for us earlier when we've been looking, we looked at Ephesians chapter 4 earlier, and Paul says, don't do things the way the world does them. Instead, you didn't come to know Christ that way. That's over in Ephesians 4:20. What's being talked about here, what God wants us to be about, is nourishing our children so that they come to know him. This may seem a little bit out of whack to us, but immediate obedience isn't the goal. Anyone can secure immediate obedience through manipulation or harshness or threats. That's not what's being talked about here. What's being talked about, because this is the instruction of the Lord, that means this brings Jesus right into it. And that's why this word nourish is so important, to see that bring them up has to do with nourishment. Has to do with feeding them and caring for them. A lot of work goes into this garden to get it look the way it does now. It's constant attention. A lot of work is being done by those bluebird parents back there. That's nourishment. And it's not going to be accomplished by heavy-handed tactics. It's not going to be accomplished by I have to have immediate obedience, even though you know I believe in that. We need to have obedience is doing things exactly as you're told right away with a good attitude. Even that's not the primary goal. The primary goal is to help your children, nourish them, grow them, feed them, so they know the person of Jesus Christ. Dads, that's what your parenting has to be all about. Getting them to understand by your example, nourishing them, caring for them, so that they come to know the person of Christ. And the only way to do that is to live Christ in front of them, to show them Christ just as Christ has shown himself to you. And that's the thought for this day, for this Father's Day. Dads, moms, think clearly about this. Nourish your children. Nourish them up so that they see that what this life is all about is knowing Christ. And that's the thought for this Father's Day. Again, thanks so much for being here today, and Lord willing, we'll see you in the morning. You have a great day. Bye-bye.